stay healthy.
It's the only defense in the league last year, top 10 against the run and the pass. Fields in trouble and sacked.
I'm not going to lie. I was worried when the Chicago Bears gave up a sack in the opening series against the San Francisco 49ers. A rainstorm, sloppy field conditions, a new offensive scheme, a new play caller, an inexperienced starting five up front, and one heck of a talented defense from San Francisco to face off against. And then another sack was allowed in the first quarter. But you know what happened? They settled in. Sure, it wasn't perfect and the right guard rotation was unconventional, but the pass pro found their footing, and that, coupled with the elusiveness from Justin Fields, and the Bears didn't allow any more sacks in the entire game. In the NFL, a sack also counts as a quarterback hit. And in this game, the 49ers were only credited with 3 total QB hits. My name is Lester Wiltfong, Editor-in-Chief at Windy City Gridiron, host of the T-Formation Conversation and co-host of Bear and Balanced, both of which can be found right here on Second City Gridiron, and I'm a big fan of offensive line play. So much so that I've been breaking down sacks the Bears have allowed for over a decade. Mostly to show that not all sacks can be easily blamed on Chicago's big guys up front, although there have been some rough O-linemen through the years. With this series now getting the video treatment, I wanted to do something special just for you viewers, so stay tuned for that after I break down this first sack the Bears allowed on Sunday. Alright, here we go. Third play of the game, and San Fran defensive end Samson Ebukam is working on Chicago rookie left tackle Braxton Jones. And just like you've seen in preseason, Jones is still trying to hone his hand usage. On this play, Jones' head and shoulders both move with the punch instead of keeping his back flat. That causes him to lean into the block, and when his upper body gets out in front of his feet, that affects his balance. With his feet not underneath him, he can't cut off the edge, so he leans on the defender, which opens the door to the pass rush. Ebukam rips underneath with his inside arm and keeps pressing until he gets to Justin Fields. There's a nice chip on Pro Bowler Nick Bosa over on the right side, which lets tackle Larry Borom catch the bull rush, but he still gives up too much ground if we're being honest. And this also wasn't the best rep from right guard Tevin Jenkins either. Tevin got caught leaning, and then the shuck kind of pulled him off balance. But with this sack, it was Ebukam that got on first, so this sack allowed is on Braxton Jones. Now's the time in this video where I diverge from my usual Sackwatch content. Since I'm breaking in my long-time series right here on our Second City Gridiron channel, I wanted to give you guys some exclusive content. So each week, besides my usual breakdown showing what went wrong from the Bears' pass protection, I'll also pick one play to show something that went right. Since I have an affinity for the offensive line, my breakdowns will usually feature something positive from those guys, and more than likely will be in regards to their pass protection. But this week, there was one play that stood out from the rest when watching the film, and it actually came from Chicago's defensive line. In particular, rookie defensive end Dominique Robinson. Me and my co-host Jeff Burkus each talked about this play on this week's Bear and Balanced, and there was just so much good to take from it that I wanted to break it down here as a reverse Sackwatch, so to speak. So this was a 3rd and 7 from Chicago's 29-yard line, and the Niners came out in an empty set. An obvious passing situation, but Trey Lance, he's a running threat, so a draw had to be considered. The neat thing about this play is it was the first time that Robinson had ever matched up one-on-one against San Fran right tackle Mike McGlinchey. He had a few reps earlier in the game, but those were all on the other side. So, why is that important? Because during the preseason, Robinson flashed some speed around the edge, but that was really the only tool that he had in his toolbox. McGlinchey watched that film, I'm sure. The scouting report probably said to beware of Robinson's explosiveness and his first step quickness around the edge. So when Robinson hit him with this sweet jump back to the inside after flashing outside first, McGlinchey didn't know what hit him. This jumping cross chop move is a favorite of Robert Quinn's, and in fact, take a look at the other side of the formation. Robert Quinn jab steps to the inside before jumping out with the cross chop to the outside of left tackle Trent Williams. Dominique Robinson does the exact same footwork and hand technique, but he's using it to get to the inside of McGlinchey. It's like a mirror image of each other. It's a beautiful move to get free, but even more impressive to grab a hold of the 6'4", 225-pound Trey Lance with his right hand and whip his ass to the ground. Robinson was a draft pick that several analysts said could be the steal of the Bears draft, and so far, these early returns are promising. All right, now back to the other sack the Bears allowed. This time it is Nick Bosa that got the Fields, and unfortunately, once again, it's the rookie Jones that gave this one up. Just like with that first sack allowed, Jones's punch on this one wasn't very good, but this time his punch comes too late. Bosa was able to get into Jones's chest and bull rush him straight back. I mean, look how quick he's moving backwards. Bosa's quickness lets him be the one delivering the first strike here. He wins with leverage, and Jones, who's now rocked back, has no chance to even anchor. So 2 sacks allowed by the rookie. But look, man, some perspective here. Bosa is one of the premier pass rushers in the game today. So by Jones facing him week 1, that's a good thing. For one, the Bears got the win against the Niners. That's always a good thing. But for him facing Nick Bosa right now, this will make Braxton Jones better in the long run, and he also knows that his team has his back. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys all like, share, subscribe, turn those notifications on right here at Second City Gridiron, because we have a ton of Bears and NFL content coming up this year that you are not going to want to miss.